guys. So in my video the other day I asked you what sort of things you wanted to see, and surprisingly I had a lot of people asking me about my wigs, which I thought was strange, but you know, I'm quite happy to talk about my wigs. Why not, if it helps somebody out? First off, I am not an expert in wigs. I'm not a hairdresser, etc, etc. I just have been basically arsing about with my hair for about 30 years. And over the years I've had braids, I've had synth extensions, I've had real hair extensions, I've had dreads, I've had short hair, I've had long hair, I've had straightened hair, I've had my natural curls, I've had every colour under the rainbow. And I think I've pretty much done and tried everything. And all of it I've done myself. I've never, well, except my pixie cut, because I can't cut that myself. Everything I've ever done to my hair I've done by myself. That way, you know, if I mess it up, it's my fault. I can't blame anybody else. So please bear in mind I'm talking from experience. I am not talking from any kind of authority. The way I do things may be completely wrong. It might be completely different to what somebody else does. It works for me, okay? And today I just thought I would try and give you a few tips and tricks that I really wish when I'd started wearing wigs somebody had mentioned to me. It's all things that I've picked up over the years, learnt for myself, and then somebody else has said, oh, do you do this because that's how it works? And I'm like, oh no, but I do that, but I didn't realise that was right. You know, you just get to know other wig wearers and figure out what they do. There are lots of people on YouTube who deal with wigs. If you're looking for someone who deals with alternative styles and, you know, the crazy makeup and all that kind of stuff, Joanna Strange is awesome. She's my idol. I want to be her when I grow up. There's also Wigging Out BC, who is, I don't think there's anything he doesn't know about wigs, and he is more than happy to share information. He tells you how to make wigs from scratch, how to repair wigs, how to thicken up a wig that's not thick enough, how to thin out one that's too thick. Everything you could possibly want to know about wigs, that guy knows about. Go and follow him, he's amazing. And the best tutorial I've seen on how to put on a wig is from Cora over at Vintage and Tacky. That's the one that I used when I originally started wearing wig caps. I never used to wear wig caps, I never saw the point, because every time I've worn wigs I've had short hair, and I've tried it a few times since then, and I have to say, for me, I prefer not to wear them. I don't like wig caps. I would prefer to pin my hair back and then secure the wig to that. I know it's supposed to, you know, help protect the inside of the wig, it's supposed to keep it clean and blah 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 and everything else, but I don't see the point. It just makes me really hot, it makes me sweat even more, which means you still have to wash your wigs, you know. It doesn't really protect anything as far as I'm concerned. And although I do find that the wigs adhere better to the wig cap because of the friction, what I generally find is that the wig caps don't stay on my head, because at the back here, I don't know if you can see, but I don't have a very large, what's it called, occipital bone, is it? Anybody know anatomy? I think that's what it's called, the occipital bone at the back of your head. Most people have a bit of a shelf. I don't have a shelf, I have a slope. And I find this with headbands as well. If I put on a headband that goes all the way around my head, unless it's like a scarf that I've tied that comes right down on my neck, if it's just a headband that sits here, the minute I go like that, it'll all flip up at the back, and that happens with wig caps as well. And what happens is, once the tension is gone at the back and it flips up, the front flips back, and what you end up with is two hair grips here holding your wig on. So I tend to skip the wig cap and just secure it to my hair. I can get away with that because I've got short hair. I don't recommend it, and certainly if you're not used to wearing wigs, I would strongly suggest you wear a wig cap, but I have found that I don't particularly need to put one on. Certainly not for everyday wear. If I'm going out somewhere, if I was going out dancing or clubbing or to somewhere where there would be a lot of people about that might pull on the wig and potentially pull it off my head, then yes, I would wear a wig cap and I would secure it absolutely firmly. But just on a day-to-day basis, I don't generally bother. It also makes it a lot easier to just whip your wig off in the ladies, sort your hair out, put it back on again, and you know, it takes 5 seconds to sort it out if it does come a little bit off. Hello, my love. Miss Maddie wants to say hello. Come say hello. Oh, ow. Oh, she's brutal today. Hello, my love. Oh, we want kisses. Say hello to your fans. Say hello, fans. Oh, Scooby's saying hello to his fans. Hello, Scooby-Doo. I don't have room for you on my knee as well. I'm sorry, I don't. Oh, he's down here. You probably can't see him. Hello, my love. How's my Maddie? How's my Maddie? Hello, darling. Hi, baby. Yeah, that's all she wanted. She just wants a cuddle, and then she's gone again. Another thing I should tell you about my wigs is that I only use synthetic hair wigs. I have had human hair wigs in the past. They're okay, and you know, they're fine. But unless you pay a lot of money for them, I don't personally find them any better or any worse than synthetic hair wigs. If you look after your synthetic hair wigs, they last a very, very long time. And, you know, I think personally for me, I would rather leave the real hair wigs for the people who actually need to wear a wig, and, you know, for their personal confidence or personal appearance, or, you know, perhaps for medical reasons, whatever, they need to wear a wig and they want to wear a human hair wig so that they don't feel like they stand out or anything like that, you know. So personally, I prefer to leave the human hair wigs for people who need them. I'm quite happy to admit that I wear wigs. You know, I wear wigs. Why not? I'm a cosplayer. I'm a goth. You know, I do that sort of thing. So, everything I'm telling you is to do with synthetic wigs. I am not an expert on either synthetic or human hair, but my experience is with synthetic wigs. So, that said, I've actually had a new one arrive this morning. I had one that I got at the same time as my cherry lip gloss, which you'll have seen me wearing in recent videos. And it's very nice, but it's really not my colour. It doesn't suit me at all. And it's not the colour that I thought it was going to be looking at the pictures on the website, which I have to say is very unusual. I got these from Geisha Wigs, geishawigs.co.uk. Mari is just wonderful. And I decided that the other one really wasn't going to suit me, so I swapped it and went for a different colour. Now this is almost exactly my natural colour. I'm a bit darker. It doesn't show the same on camera because this is synthetic and my hair is real, obviously. But there's not much difference actually in. Maybe it's quite a bit lighter actually. It's maybe 3 or 4 shades lighter. Anyway, that's irrelevant. The first thing you should do when you get a wig, before you even unwrap it, and I have to say I have already unwrapped this, I put it back in the packaging, it was a lot neater than this when it arrived. The first thing you do is you put it next to your skin tone to see if that colour is going to work for your skin tone. Okay? So, I'm just put it around your face, like that, see? Is that going to work for your skin tone, or is it going to look ridiculous? No, of course it's going to work for my skin tone because I'm a redhead. So once you've decided that the colour is going to work, then you can unwrap it. The reason I say that is because if you unwrap it, an awful lot of companies will not take it back because they will say it's been worn. If it has never even been out of the package and they can see straight away that it obviously has never been out of the net, then they can't tell you you've worn it. You know, it's as simple as that. But that said, Geisha Wigs, I've never had a problem with them. They're always quite happy, you know, but again, I always send my wigs back in the condition they came because I check that the colour is going to work for me. It takes 2 seconds to do that and say, yes, is that colour going to work? Of course it is. And if it doesn't, then send it back and swap it for something else, because you don't want to have it hanging around. No point. If you're not going to wear it, get rid of it. Send it back or whatever. Anyway, so when you get your wig, it'll be in a hairnet. I took that off, sorry. You just take it out of the hairnet, and usually it's wrapped up or coiled or whatever. This was twisted, because it's a curled wig. If it's a straight wig, normally it'll be kind of wrapped like that, but this one was actually twisted and wrapped like that because it's a curly wig. Inside the wig, normally there will be this, just to protect the inside. And then you look at the construction of the wig itself. Now this is, I believe the correct term is a wefted wig cap. I'm not sure. This has a lace piece at the top and it's in brown. I think, I'm not sure, but I think all of geisha wigs come in brown unless they're, I think the blonde ones are cream and the black ones are black, but everything else comes in coffee, which I like actually because it makes it a lot easier to hide all this. Here you can see that this is just strips of lace with wefts sewn across them. Now the advantage of that is that there are holes, big holes, like inch-wide holes, and that helps you breathe underneath the wig so you don't get quite so hot. In addition, there's this little circular piece here, that's called a coin, and it's a skin coin, so sewn into the centre piece of here, usually where the centre parting is, in the middle here, and it's just so that it looks like skin on your parting. The hair is actually pushed down through the bit of, I don't know what it is, rubber, silicone, plastic, whatever. I think it's a piece of silicone. And so it looks like a scalp. So if I show you up close, you can see actually it looks like a scalp. Whereas underneath here, it looks like this. Okay? First thing you do when you take your wig out, do not ever just plonk it on your head. Please do not just take it out of the packet, plonk it on your head and go out, okay? First thing you do, grab it by that coin piece, or, you know, near enough to it, and shake it. Not hard, just enough to aerate the fibres, okay? Because it's been stuck in that plastic for goodness knows how long, probably since the day it was made, and you don't know how long ago it was made. So it's been stuck in that plastic for a while. Just pick it up and shake it gently, just to pull all these fibres loose, where they could be stuck together, they could be stuck to the cap, they could be, where it's been machined, obviously, your wefts will be lying one on top of the other. So you'll have one like that, 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 which means that each individual row of hair will be hanging like that. And what you want to do is mix them up a little bit to make them look more natural, so hence aerating the wig. It'll also make it lie flatter, or better. Okay, so just like that, nothing aggressive, just enough to loosen it up. What you'll also find is for curly wigs, it will also loosen up the curl a little bit. So you can see already the curl is starting to drop a little bit. It's starting to look a lot more like real hair. Remember, this is 100% synthetic hair. There is nothing real about this hair, it is plastic. Okay? Now, with a lot of wigs, what you'll find is that the shine is really bad. More so on the unnatural colours. With my red one that I got, it was shiny. Like shiny. It was like, if you went like that, it was like glass, you know. And with that one, all I did was I took some Batiste dry shampoo, and from a distance, and when I mean say a distance, I mean I held it at arm's length and I sprayed it from here. I just gave it a light dusting. I let that dry, and then I just brushed it through, or combed it through. And anywhere that it had gone a little bit white, I just kind of rubbed it in. And all it does is it just takes the shine off a little bit. This one is actually not too shiny. You can see at the bottom, it's not that shiny. So I'm quite happy with that. This is a little bit shiny up here. Usually, for me, it's the front that is a bit too shiny, because if you think about real hair, the front, no matter how well you look after your hair, the fringe, if you've got a fringe, that's going to be where the majority of your wear happens. That's where most people slick their hair back. You brush your hair back that way. You shampoo that bit first. You straighten your fringe. That takes a lot of damage, not only from the sun and the wind and everything else, but from what you do to it. So the front will nearly always be duller than the rest. So I'm not going to bother spraying the back of this, but I'm just going to spray the front. Just a little bit. Let that dry a second. You can see it's already taken some of the shine off. And then I just comb it through. Now, you'll see all sorts of people telling you, oh, you should never use a brush on your hair, you should always use a metal brush, you should never use a metal brush, you should always use plastic, you should never use plastic, you should use a padded paddle brush, you should never use a padded paddle brush. Basically, use what works for you, okay? For me, for straight hair like this, at the top of this, a vent brush works perfectly. I love to use a vent brush. I find it a lot easier to work with. They're just like combs, but there's more bristles. For the length, actually, your fingers are the best thing for combing it through, if it's not tangled. And if you know, as with real hair, I don't know where my comb is. Nope, I've put it away somewhere. I have a mega big comb, like bigger than this. It's got, where this has got 3 teeth, the other one has 2. So it's like the middle one would be missing. And I would just comb it through with that, just to loosen up. You don't want to loosen all of it because you want to hold some of the curl. If you think about when you've curled long hair, you know, some of the curls will hold the curl and some of it will drop. And that's what you want. You want a natural look. So once you've done all that, the next thing to do is to check the styling of the wig. Now, with geisha wigs, I've never had any problems with the styling, but if you buy cheaper wigs, I've bought some wigs that were the 100% Kenkalon wigs from Japan cosplay places, and they're nearly always unstyled. With these are nearly always styled. So I'm going to take the 2 centre pieces of the wig. Sorry, I've skipped ahead. Inside the wig you'll see these little tightening bands, and at the bottom is a row of ribbons, and you hook the bands into the ribbons to tighten the wig. Now I always put it on the loosest setting first because each wig is a different size and shape, I've found. You can't just say, oh yes, I always put it on the second hole. There are many factors that can affect what hole you put it on. You'll also have the piece that comes around the ear, and then you'll have a centre section that is the fringe. Where those seams are, those are going to go about here. So that's the piece that I use to find the centre. Okay? Now, I see this all the time and it really bugs me. The amount of people who dive. You know, you open your wig like this, you put your head in, and you flip it up, and ta-da! You know, that drives me crazy. You spent all that time making sure that your wig's not knotty, and, you know, making it nice and styling it and everything else, and then you flip it upside down like Disco Diva. I don't understand that. I always put my wigs on like this, put it over the front, and then pull it down over the back. Okay, and you can see here, these are the 2 flaps that come over the ears. I position those over my ears first, and then I will take this bit here. I do it by feel, so it's quite hard to show you. But that bit there, I'll push that back until it reaches my hairline. And then that's on. Then I will pull the front down and shake my head to see which way the wig will naturally fall. This one looks like it's going to fall straight front, and I always style my wigs to the side, so that should work fine. I'll just do that, and there you go. Once I've fixed that in place with a couple of hair grips, that will be good for the day. And I like this one. It's the same style as my cherry red one, the cherry lip gloss, but it's... Sorry, I'm looking at the viewfinder instead of at you guys. It's the same style as my cherry lip gloss, but it's curly at the bottom, and obviously it's a completely different colour. But I like the colour. It's very natural. For days when I don't want to be overly conspicuous, this is a much more natural colour. Some of you may remember me having hair this colour once upon a time, before I started dyeing it crazy colours. So I would then, you know, pin it. I usually lift the wefts and pin over the lace like that into my hair, and then I would get another pin and basically just crisscross them and go the other way. That holds them in place. Like so. And that, just with those two pins, that's not going anywhere. So if I was filming, or I was just, you know, popping out for 5 minutes or whatever, and I fancied wearing my wig for whatever reason, I could go like that. That would be fine. If I'm going to be out for a bit longer, or I might be engaging in activities that might involve me moving my head about a bit more, then I would put pins in the sides and at the back just to secure them in. But again, same technique. I don't pin here and pin backwards. I come back into the wefts here and I pin the wefts. It just hides the pins better. I don't like the pins being seen. Which is a bit silly because it's obvious it's a wig, but you know. So this one, because somebody will ask, won't they? This one is, like I said, from Geisha Wigs. It's called Gold. There you go. Her wigs are a little bit sparse at the moment. She's waiting for a major restock, but I've pre-ordered wigs and not had any problems. And usually if you pre-order a wig and then you see something that's in stock that you think, well, I wanted that one too, I might swap it over. She's usually fairly okay with doing that if she hasn't already sent it out. So yeah, there we go. That's a little basic introduction to beginning with wigs. How to take a wig out of a packet and slap it on your head. Obviously, like I said, I don't wear a wig cap most of the time. I just pin it with bobby pins because that's what I prefer. And I wouldn't normally wear one of my wigs if my hair was dirty. You know, I usually, it's at least been washed the day before. It hasn't today because I'm about to go and do my roots, so it will be washed. But I was only, you know, I'm not going to be wearing this for very long. I only put it on for this tutorial just to show you how it works. And there you go. That is, show you the full effect if I can. I don't know how much of that you'll be able to see because I'm a bit lower on camera than I should be, but there you go. And this is, although it's synthetic hair, it's very fine, so it does tend to move like real hair. It'll blow in the wind and everything. You will find that it will get matted at the bottom, but if you look after it, you can unmat it quite easily. The curl is steamed in, so even if you wash it, it will return to this curly state unless you steam it out or unless you heat it. And these wigs are okay up to, I want to say 180 degrees. Let me just check that. Yes, it says on here up to 180 degrees. So basically, as long as you don't have one of those Uber irons that's 270 degrees flat irons, that will cause you a few problems. But if you've just got an older appliance or just a regular one that doesn't heat up, mine actually goes to 200 degrees. No, 210. So what I do is I heat it up and then I switch it off before I use it. And then I'll use it for a little bit and I'll switch it back on to heat it up again. And then I'll switch it off and I'll do the other side. With my curler only heats up to 170 anyway. It's got 3 heat settings. So I can put it on the lowest setting and I can use it absolutely fine. I also have a steamer, which is just like a little handheld steamer. It's like a kettle with a steaming thing on it. And I use that for putting my wigs back, or restoring my wigs to their original nice shiny state, because this cane kaolin type fibre, I don't know if these are cane kaolin, they're not listed as cane kaolin, but this high quality synthetic, basically it's nothing like synthetic hair used to be. It's amazing, and it really does revive right back to where the original style and colour and shape and everything else was. It's beautiful. 2 things I also use with my wigs. I have a wig control spray. This is the 3-in-1 African Essence formula for human and synthetic wigs. Here we go. It's just a shine spray. Softens, conditions and provides moisture and sheen. I use this for, if I've been wearing a wig for like 3 or 4 days, it'll go a little bit frizzy on the bottom, and I'll comb it out and I'll run a curler or a straightening iron through it, and then I'll put this on to put the moisture back in and protect the plastic. Because obviously heated appliances dry out synthetic hair just as they do ordinary hair. You can also use this on a daily basis on human hair. I don't, obviously. Not on ordinary hair, because it's basically replacing the oils from your scalp. So you don't want to use it regularly if you've got normal hair. But on a wig, you can use it, or extensions or whatever. So I use that when I've used heat on it. And when I haven't used heat on it, I have a Febreze bottle here. It's not got Febreze in it, but the Febreze makes it smell nice. This is full of water and a silicone conditioner. I don't use silicone conditioners on my own hair at all, ever. I avoid sulfates, I avoid silicones and all that, because I've got coloured hair. You don't use that crap when you've got coloured hair. But silicone conditioners are really, really good on synthetic fibres. Now, I don't know enough about the science behind it to know why or how, or if it causes a build-up, or if it can damage the wig long term or whatever. What I do know is that if you use a silicone-based conditioner, it coats the hair and it just makes it easier to detangle. But I wouldn't just, I wouldn't put conditioner on this now. I only use this when I'm detangling. So after I've worn this for a day, under here will be very tangled. I will do what I can to get it out without needing to condition it. If I do need to condition it, I'll give this a shake, spray it lightly, let it dry out a little bit so it's not completely soaked but just a little bit damp, and then comb it out again, and this works great. So you don't need any expensive tools to look after a wig. You just have to treat it gently, simple as that. And if you do treat it gently, you shouldn't ever have massive clumps of hair coming out of your wig. Whenever I have brushed my red one, I've only ever had sort of this amount or a little bit less come off the hairbrush. When a wig is brand new, like this one, it will have some loose hairs, so you may get some extra, but during normal maintenance, if you're looking after it and treating it gently, you shouldn't ever have a major de-shedding thing happening. Particularly with these wefted wigs, because they're sewn really well. It's not so easy with the ones that are pointed through a little net cap, which is like the other two I've got. The black and the long burgundy one I've got are both net caps, and they're not as well made as these, so they do tend to have chunks coming out of them. But those are ones that I don't particularly look after. I just wear them when I feel like it for a change. These I really look after, because I tend to wear these if I'm going out, or you know, if I'm on camera, if I'm going somewhere special, if I'm going to an event, something like that. Whereas the others, you know, I just, oh, I'm going into town, I feel like having long hair today, I think I'll whack a wig on. You know, that's what I tend to do with those. So they tend to be a bit more exposed to the elements. But the principle is the same because they're kaolin fibre. You can still heat them up to 180 degrees. You can still use a steamer on them. Steamers will never ever damage synthetic hair. Steam does not get hot enough to damage plastic. So you can always use a steamer on your wig to restore it to its natural loveliness. So there you go. I hope that was helpful to some people. What else do you want to know about them? I can show you the different ones I've got. I can show you some styling things I do, because it's actually quite difficult to style a wig unless you, like this, I couldn't just whack this up in a ponytail because you'd be able to see all this underneath. So you're basically stuck with half do's and little bits and pieces. But you know, if you want to see some more, leave a comment down below, let me know what you want to see, and I will do my best to do a video on it, because wigs are fun. Oh, and one other thing, I meant to say that I really wish somebody had taught me this when I first started dyeing my hair, started wearing wigs, started doing different things. For goodness sake, if you change the colour of your hair drastically, or you put on a different wig, please check your makeup. Please. You will notice today I don't have black makeup on. I went for a very dark brown with a grey smudge, because the black against this would be way too harsh, and it wouldn't, I mean, it's not going to look natural anyway, but it looks a bit more natural than if I had harsh black makeup and bright red lipstick on. You can't have this colour hair and wear the kind of red lipstick and black eye makeup that I wear when I've got my cherry red lip gloss on. That's the name of the wig, not a lip gloss. It's confusing, I know. Cherry. When I've got my cherry one on, and when I've got my black one on, I can go for much darker makeup because it just makes me look a bit goth, you know. And I don't mind that. But I'm very pale, so with this colour, I can't wear a lot of makeup. I just can't. I've gone for a very light base. I actually put tinted moisturiser on. I have a neutral lip, which is, ooh, I have it here. It is the Kate Moss Love Kate ones. It's the Lasting Finish range, and it's in, oh, it doesn't have a name, it's only got a number, it's 80 or 08. Is it 80 or 08? It's 08. Yes, it's 08. And it's a really nice, as they call it, your lips but better. Matte finish. It's a very nice lipstick. So I wouldn't wear anything darker than that with this hair because it just would look ridiculous. So yes, check your makeup. And if you have a wig that turns out to be unstyled, I mean, obviously this one's styled already. There's nothing needs to be done to this one. If you have one that's unstyled, like the ones I bought previously, take it to a hairdresser who can do razoring and knows how to deal with synthetic hair. Ask them if they know how to razor extensions and wigs. Most of them do. They'll always have a specialist who knows exactly how to do it, but you might have to book, you know, several weeks in advance to actually get her in the salon. If they don't have somebody and they're just like, oh no, it's just like dealing with normal hair. No, it's not, okay? Absolutely not. You never ever cut a wig like you cut normal hair. So if they tell you that, say, okay, thanks very much, I'll be in touch, let me have a card, and then walk out and never contact them again for a wig cut, okay? You need somebody who understands how this works. A general rule of thumb, I've found, living in the UK in a small village, is if somebody has strange hair themselves, they generally know about this kind of stuff. So if they've got a really funky pixie cut, like Vicky, the girl who does my wigs, has a razored pixie cut with an undercut, and it's bright blonde, and it's got pink streaks all the way through it, and it's all spiked up and crazy. She knows about wigs. I knew from the minute I looked at her she'd know about wigs and know how to cut them. So you get to know who knows about them and who doesn't, but anybody who tells you it's just like cutting normal hair, run away, because it's not. You want someone who knows what they're doing. But like I say, these geisha wigs, they're beautiful. They don't need anything doing to them. I might chop the fringe a little bit, it's a little bit long. It's a tiny bit longer than I normally wear it. I might chop it up to that kind of length. I don't know, I might leave it as it is. So yeah, that's an intro to wigs and getting them out of the packet, basically. If you are interested in knowing more, leave me questions down below and I will do what I can to help you out. Bye!